The Kobe Bryant crash put spotlight on helicopter air taxi market. I would also add to that the drone air taxi market, right, that they're working on. Many companies are trying to push out different versions. I know that Hyundai the other day did a launch, BMW did a launch on their air drones. The bottom line is that this accident sadly has taught us so much. This particular helicopter that he died in was not equipped with the terrain software that could identify the terrain, letting the pilot know whether it was too high or too low, etc. So the pilot pretty much put his faith into the control tower, right? Overriding the conditions. These were not favorable conditions to fly in, and we're going to face this many times down the line. VIPs, whether they fly, whether it's going to be passenger traffic in the future, right? This accident here addresses a lot, my friends, right? So these companies need to incorporate the intel that they gather from this, because if you ever do board one of these new vehicles in the future, 5, 10, 15 years time, you do not want to end up in a situation like this, right? So I'm going to jump into the article right now. Kobe Bryant, the former Los Angeles basketball star who died in a helicopter crash on Sunday, loved to travel by chopper. Most Americans, including those rich enough to afford that mode of air transport, have been less enthusiastic. One reason could be safety. Personal or private rides accounted for more than a quarter of all fatal helicopter accidents in the United States over the past decade, despite making up only 3% of total chopper traffic, according to the United States Helicopter Safety Team, an industry organization focused on improving safety. In 2019, a total of 51 people were killed in helicopter crashes in the United States, down from 55 the previous year. According to the USHST, it had been just 30 days since the last fatal helicopter crash in the United States, a sightseeing flight in Hawaii that killed 6 people on December the 27th. Remember, that was just around the corner. Those numbers encompass all helicopter flights, including firefighting, police, air, ambulances, and training routes. In all, helicopters logged more than 3.2 million flight hours last year, with just 3.5 accidents per 100,000 hours flown. Still, traveling by helicopter is less safe than by commercial airline. Recent data show globally there were 534 deaths involving large commercial aircraft around the world in 2019, including one of the 2 737 MAX flights, or 0.00018 fatal incidents per 100,000 flight hours. That compares with 0.72 deaths per 100,000 flight hours per helicopters in 2019. That is up slightly from a 5-year average of 0.68. Indeed, the Helicopter Association International, the industry's largest trade group, has long pushed to reduce the number of crashes. Its goal is to have a year in the near future when there are no helicopter fatalities. That hasn't stopped the number of transportation startups from launching so-called air taxi services that rely on helicopters. Privately owned Blade Urban Air Mobility in New York has dropped the price of a one-way helicopter trip from Manhattan to local airports to $195 per passenger. In the past, the company had charged $3,000 per flight. Thought that bought a whole chopper which seats 6. Ride-hailing company Uber last year launched a similar service that charges $205 for a copter flight between a downtown Manhattan heliport and John F. Kennedy International Airport, with a price including an UberX ride to the airport. Blade in October launched the $195 flights for local trips to Los Angeles International Airport, as well as flights to the Staples Arena. For $495, Blade this weekend will fly travelers from Miami Beach Hotel to a spot near Hard Rock Stadium, site of the Super Bowl. So the way I read it is that this crash, sadly, will address many safety concerns. Both Uber, both Blade, all these private companies need to pay very, very close attention to this report that will be coming out, and they have to incorporate those findings into their company. Right? This is a risky business. The way I look at it is that Kobe Bryant picked up at 9:07 in Newport Beach. The helicopter went down at 9:46. He flew via Van Nuys, where there was still visibility. At Van Nuys, he had to get clearance to fly that last stretch. That last stretch, my friends, is 25 minutes in an SUV, right? And if you're a VIP, I don't care who you are, whether you're flying in a drone one day, whether you're flying in a helicopter and you have the money one day, the bottom line is this. If weather conditions, right, are risky, why disobey Mother Nature, right? Why not get on the ground and do that last leg by car, or skip the meeting entirely, or skip the game entirely, right? You do not have to put any pressure on any pilot. A pilot should know when to land his plane and discontinue his flight. And I hope that sets a standard for all future drone flights, whether they are operated by computers or man, helicopters, VIP flights, whatever it is. We really need to think things over. Have a great day.